My name is Asia Bussey and welcome to Business with Bussey. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to get your business funded. Okay, we need the coin. So this is where I'm going to help you. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I have been a full-time entrepreneur for about 7 years now. And when I started out, I had no money to start with. I was a single mom and I did not have any money to start with. So I had to figure out how to make money to start my business. And it was a business that had to start with money. I was not gonna get a loan until I showed that I had some money. I wasn't gonna be able to secure the location until I showed that I had some money in the account. So I dug deep and I found out how I could make some money as a new business owner, and I'm going to share that with you all. All right, so the very first thing you want to do is you have to start with research. You have to do your own research and figure out what banks lend to new startup businesses. And there are some out there, don't get me wrong, it is kind of hard to find. However, there are some out there. And so I reached out to a minority company that was going to fund new businesses. That was me. I'm a minority and I need the money. Okay, so I reached out to them and they require that you go through like a course to show that you're interested. And with him, they give you like a one-on-one coach, business coach. And with him, I did my business plan because they want to make sure that the coach will coach you through the business plan, and then he relays the information back to the lenders to let them know she's serious. We have the business plan, and we can definitely lend her the money. All right, so once you do your research and you find, I would say find 2 to 3 banks that you qualify for based off of your demographics and like where you are in your business stage, and see what they require you to have so that you can get funded. And you want to make sure that you check off every box, because if it's one that's not checked off, there's a chance that they will not give you the money that you're asking for. Okay, I have even more information and experience to see what banks are looking for exactly. All right, so I'm going to go down. So make sure you have your pen and paper to write these things down. And like I said, you should do your own research. If you feel like you're not a great writer, there are tons of freelancers out there who will put your thoughts on paper. But either way, you need these steps. All right, so the very first one is the executive summary. The executive summary is your name, location, basic information about your business. Just kind of giving like a little summary of exactly who you are and what you plan to do. All right, that's the first part, your executive summary. The second part is your company description. So there's so many different ways to set up your company. Are you an LLC? Are you a sole proprietor? Is this a partnership? Is this business to consumer? Is this business to business? So in here, you'll kind of explain to the reader what type of business you plan to launch and how you see it. And really all of them are great and they all have their pros and cons, but you'll have to research to see which one fits your specific needs. And it also goes on like for taxes. All right. Then the third thing is you want to do your market research. You want to talk about trends. You want to see who your competitors are. See some things that you can take or learn from your competitors, things that you want to change, like, oh, they're doing this, I don't want to do that. Doing research, trends, things that maybe were going on 2 years from now aren't necessarily going to be going on today or next year. So you want to have really good market research for like where your business will be and who like the target audience or who your competitors are. Okay, the next one is your product summary. So is this a service or is this a product? Really, really, really dig deep here to explain what it is that you'll be offering. So if it's a service, you'll kind of literally paint a picture for a reader for what you imagine for your business. so that after they read this, they're like, I want to buy that, I need that. So you want it to be really, really, really clear. If it's a service, a product, just make it very clear so that the reader is like, I have no questions after this. You know, kind of imagine that you're explaining it to a 8-year-old. Never feel like you're being too thorough, because sometimes people literally do not know. All right, so make sure that that part is in extreme detail. Okay, the next part is marketing. So when it comes to marketing, we are in a very digital space. So how do you plan on marketing this business in a digital space? Who's your target audience? And always view it as the viewer. So really kind of dig deep into marketing, because that's how you spread your business. If you're a great marketer, stick with that. If not, you can outsource someone who does marketing. But in that business plan, you need to explain all of that and who you think your target audience is and how you plan to market to them. All right. The next part is funding. All right. So that's why this business plan is so important. If you don't already have money set aside, money coming in, you're going to need money to keep it going or to fund your dream. When it comes to funding, I always think that it's such a good idea to go ahead and give your business a bank account, because any money that you get in, even if you're doing it as a freelancer, you can put that into your business bank account so that when someone starts asking you, well, how long have you been doing this? Or is your business making money? You pull those statements and say, okay, well, I started 2 years ago. I wasn't making a bunch of money. I was only making $100, $200, whatever it is, a month. And it has grown to this. So when you just put the money into your personal account for a service or a product that you plan on creating a business for, they can't tell that. They can't see that. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and just start putting it into the account. And then it'll also give you a way to save, because a lot of times banks won't give you money until they see that you're making money and you have money already. So I'm gonna go back to when I started my business. I was still working, and I knew I was on my way out. I was like, I cannot be here much longer. So any money that I got, like any additional money that I got, it was going into my business account, because I knew that when they wanted to look at me making money, revenue, it would be there. I knew that any extra money I got, I wanted to save, so I'm gonna put it there. So I am a big believer of, when you want someone to help fund your business, you have to show that I am willing to match. If you're telling me that you'll give me $10,000 to $15,000, I can show you right now I have $10,000 to $15,000 in my business account. That shows you serious. Put your money where your mouth is. And that's typically that's really what it is. You're showing them, I'm serious. So I need you to fund me. I got the money right here. I just need a little bit more. I need your help. Okay? So when it comes to funding, make sure that you already have money in your business account. All right? So when you ask the bank, or you're trying to get a grant or whatever, like, you have this business plan that we're putting together, and you have your business bank account, which means that you also have to have your EIN already set up. And then when you're out there, like I said, there are tons of places that does funding. You just have to do your research. And I know right now it's like a lot of issues with grants and stuff like that, but I guarantee you loans ain't going nowhere. People want to continue making money off of you. All right. And then the next part is your financial projections. And this part is extremely important, because it's going to show trends as to how you plan to grow your business. So by implementing my marketing strategy, which I previously told you about, this is how my business is going to grow. And you want to show for 3 to 5 years. And in those 3 to 5 years, that means that also if you plan on making more money, your expenses are going to go up as well. So when I worked with the guy who previously worked for a bank, he had me do my financial projections in an Excel tab. So I had my business plan, and then it kind of was like attached to an Excel spreadsheet. And so on there, I had like year 1, expense, staff, clients, service. That's year 1. Year 2, it went up to this amount of clients. And so the way that I projected it is kind of like I always projected it on the low end. So if I say year 1, oh, I'll have, this is like a service-based business. If year 1, if I have 20 clients, year 2, I should have 25 clients. Like, I should be able to gain from year 1 to year 2. If I already have 20 clients, I should be able to gain 5 clients. Or if you feel like that's too many, you can go to 23. I should be able to gain 3 clients in a year if you're doing a good job. Okay, then the next year is like, okay, you can put, statistically, it shows that year 2 of a business is where you face the most challenges. So I'm only gonna go up to 1 more client going into the 3rd year. And so now I have 23, 24, whatever, play with your numbers for what you want it to be. And so then with 24 clients, 25 clients, that means that I now have to add on additional staff. So your staff number is gonna go up. So you might be making more money, but you're also gonna be putting out a little bit more money. So it must make sense. My point is that your financial projections need to make sense, and it needs to be over a 3 to 5 year span. All right. And so then I always like to end mine with a SWOT analysis. So the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, because I like it to be realistic. Like, I want them to know, like, I know that everything is not rainbows, daisies, and it's just gonna take off. No, it is, but you're gonna face some challenges. They're gonna be threats. You're gonna have weaknesses in your business, and like, point those out now. Because if you point them out now, it's showing that, okay, I could potentially try to fix them early on before it gets too late. Like, I know that they're coming, so I'm preparing for them. Your business plan, and you've done some research on places, banks who do either like grants or loans, or foundations that do grants. You take that to them aside, and with your money in your account, they can't say no. I've done it. And if I can do it, you can do it. All right? So best of luck, and go get that money.